the scars remind me to appreciate the days I don't have to.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had a question.
Hello?
I would have a question about Tombstone.
Yeah, okay.
Tombstones too. Well, we were talking about Tombstone on the last episode, and I've seen this comment a lot online, and I just want to know how accurate it is. The line, "I'm your Huckleberry." People say, "Oh, that wasn't the line. The line was, I'm your huckle bearer."
Yes.
Was that what was written, and it just sounds like Huckleberry, or what was the line?
The line was the way that Val said it, the way that I've always thought of it, and the way that I'm sure it's written in the script.
It is
Huckleberry. And Hucklebearer, they talk about, oh, it's people carrying a cask. But Val's book is called Huckleberry, if I'm not mistaken. When Val wrote his memoirs, it's called Huckleberry, and it's always been Huckleberry. And this whole it's this conversation about is it Hucklebearer? I've seen that online a lot, and I'm sure that if you look in the script, it's Huckleberry. And Huckleberry is Jim. Is it the name of basically? What he's basing. Can you describe what you think of the Huckleberry meant?
Well, I know a fellow from Virginia,
Okay.
very interesting character that was the subject of a book and some TV stories. And he loved that movie. And he was telling me, he was from Virginia, and he said it's kind of a Southern expression, and it's something that bothers you, that bugs you. I'm your Huckleberry. I'm the thing that is, I'm on your ass, basically,
Right.
is what it means.
Right.
And
right.
Kevin Jarre, the screenwriter of Tombstone, got a lot of his lingo from a book written in the 1920s. And that book uses Huckleberry as a meaning
What book
I'm
is
on
that,
your ass.
Jim? What was the name of that book?
I don't remember.
Okay.
The guy's name is Walter Burns Noble.
Right.
And,
okay.
It's
The lunger and all of that. They call that vernacular. Is that correct?
like when Kurt says, "Go ahead, pull that smoke wagon."
Yes. Yes.
Smoke wagon. I'd never heard that expression before, but boy, it works in that moment.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I know what he's talking about.
Yes.
Or the expression, and right before that, Billy Bob says, "Well, no need to do that with a man who don't go heels."
Yeah.
I have no idea what go heels means. You know what it means. What does it mean to go heels?
Not have your guns on you.
If you go heels, you're armed.
You're not healed.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because in Tombstone, I always remembered when I was shooting, I was so pissed off that they waited until the last hour to let me do my "I want your blood and I want your soul." But that's kind of where Kurt comes out, and I think Kurt made the point at the time where I'm basically talking to Wyatt Earp. I'm talking to Kurt Russell's character, and I'm saying to him, "Come on, bitch, come on, I want your blood and I want your soul." And I say something about you, and I point at him, and he, I believe he wanted to say the line, "Well, I'm not healed," because he's the star of the effing movie. So you don't want somebody to be like, "Come on, I'll have to take you on in a gunfight," and for you to be like, "Well, not now, I'm not," And he did say, and supposedly in real life, he said there's no money in it. There might be some truth to the fact that Johnny Ringo at one point was hammered and maybe not hammered, maybe not drunk, but basically was giving Wyatt Earp some shit, and Wyatt Earp basically said, "I don't want to fight you. There's no money in it." And I think that Kurt at one point, kind of, which I understood 100%, that if I'm playing like Wyatt Earp and somebody calls me out in a gunfight, I don't want to be like, "Nah, I'd rather not." He's a fucking, he's the star of the movie. And so I thought he had that expression, "I'm not healed." And what he does is he opens up his coat But the fact of the matter was, I saw that clip recently, and he doesn't say I'm not healed. It's on his back, and that line never comes out. He just opens up his coat, and you don't know. I mean, unless you were part of that movie, or unless you're Kurt, or unless you were, you wouldn't know why he's opening up his coat, because he doesn't say in the movie, I'm not healed, which is, there's a lot of that vernacular that is in that movie. And that, again, is one of the reasons why that movie was so fun to do. And I get a lot of folks who want to know about the Latin and want me to like.
Yeah, there was a because we just did the Comic-Con in San Diego, and a couple people came by and go, they want your autograph. They go, hey, and can you do the Latin line on the autograph? You're like, I don't fucking know the Latin.
I barely knew it then. I've always brought up the fact that when we were doing rehearsals, we did a read through, and it was a crazy read through. But Val, when they got to him, he knew. I didn't know the Latin. I didn't know how to say the Latin, and I didn't know what it meant. It was like we're still in I don't think we had real rehearsal. We didn't have any rehearsals, but we had a read through. I remember Val knew the Latin, and he knew what it meant. I was like, oh, fuck. Better get my shit together here. This guy's like on top of it.
A little bit ahead of me here. A little bit ahead of me on this one. Yeah.
And an actor that I won't reveal. I don't think he would give a shit because he's a wonderful guy. But that read through, we did not get through that read through, which was long because at that point it was 140 pages, so two hours in time. But there was an actor who basically just fucking projectile vomited,
He was so hungover
from the night before. Yeah.
Interrupted the reading with projectile vomit all over.
Sissy boy.
That will bring the table read to a halt.
Right. So what I wanted to talk, I just wanted to mention is I watched the Rob Reiner movie last night, and first of all,
this is Ghost of Mississippi.
Yeah, Ghost of Mississippi. First of all, fucking Alec Baldwin, so fucking good looking. Jesus Christ, holy shit, was he good looking? Michael Madsen's sister, who was also very attractive.
Virginia Madsen. She's terrific.
She had kind of a thankless role at the beginning of it. She plays his wife, who's Southern. When Rob Reiner made that movie, he was making a movie about the trial of what's the guy's name, Jim?
Byron de la Beckwith.
And what year was that?
The trial?
Yes. Do you know?
Trial, I think, was in 93 or so.
Okay.
But the crime was the murder of a civil rights leader in Mississippi, Medgar Evers.
Yes.
In 1963. And Beckwith was arrested at that time, but this was a time when, juries were white and they weren't convicting white men of killing black men. Well, so the two trials ended in a hung jury.
And according, and Jim, I don't know when you said that, they weren't convicting white people. I mean, there's a difference between not guilty and a hung, they weren't a hung. What do you call it when it's not a hung jury, but it's something's gone wrong in the trial?
Mistrial.
I think they were both mistrials, Jim.
Well, I'm seeing. I just Googled.
AI
is saying
jury
that.
Is a mistrial.
Listen, AI speaking. So
AI said, in 1964 he was arrested and tried twice for the murder. Both trials ended in hung juries.
Oh, in hung juries.
But a hung jury is a mistrial. When the jury is hung, the judge declares a mistrial, and so the prosecution can either start over or drop the
Well,
charges.
what that means though is there was one white person on that jury at
Oh
least
yeah,
who
yeah.
said like, no, he's
Well, I
guilty.
was saying white juries weren't convicting. They didn't convict him.
No,
Apparently, the evidence was pretty strong
correct.
and
Oh,
solid, but
all
they
right.
didn't.
Oh, you're
They
right,
didn't
Jim.
convict
You're
him.
right. You're right.
But
Yes. You're
I was
right.
the debater in high school. Remember?
What was the okay, so what year did that trial take place?
The one
The
covered
second,
in the movie.
yeah, the one
I
that
think that was 30 years later.
okay, it would have been 1983. No, that's
I think it
93.
was more like 93. Yeah.
He was tried for a third time in '94.
In 94. Okay, so he's tried for the so that movie basically takes place in 93 and 94. And boy did they push heavy on the fact when I think of 93 and 94, I kind of thought we were past. Now, I didn't live in Mississippi, but I thought we had kind of gone. What
Well, that's
year,
right in the
Jim? What
aftermath-
year did
That's right in the aftermath of Rodney King.
Well, when did the Confederate flags all come down? Do you know that?
Oh, it's only in the last few years.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's
All right.
been a kind of an ongoing process, but you know, it's that some states started taking it out of their flags, like some states had part of the Confederate flag incorporated into their state flag.
Yes.
That's been happening over the last 30 years, I would say.
Okay, but there
That's-
hasn't
that-
been a state that has incorporated the Confederate flag with their state flag for at least what 10 or 20 years, 10, 15, 10 years, would you say 10 years?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I was just surprised that in the movie that takes place, that the film takes place in 1993, that there was still, the way it was depicted in the movie was the racism in Mississippi was still pretty hardcore.
I imagine it could be. I mean,
And I mean, it works better for the movie if there's a lot of racism and whether he's getting threats or not, and I'll kill you, you N lover, like all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. You know, like there was a lot of that was in the movie that I was like such an idiot to not to have been so unaware of how racist our country was and how racist. One other thing, Jim, that when we were talking about ghosts of Mississippi, that's the one. That's the other one, correct?
yeah.
Okay. When we were talking about that, I asked you this last night because I thought that I'd remembered that there was sort of a sense from, and I could be wrong, but please tell me what you think about it. There were some voices around basically, and I thought, and I could very well be wrong, that it was Spike Lee saying at that time, white, like, oh, this is a story about how the white man fucking, came in to stop segregation. And that's kind of like, is that all we get are white people heroes? And am I wrong, Jim? Or do you remember, is that Spike Lee? I definitely don't want to say his name if that's not true, or if you don't know anything about it.
That is true. I know he's made that criticism, that critique of movies. And in fact,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
and he may have made, I don't know that he made it specifically against Ghosts of Mississippi, but it wouldn't surprise me because the movie came out in the mid 90s, and Spike Lee was certainly active filmmaker in those days. That's around the time I think he was making Malcolm X and trying to get Malcolm X off the ground. And I know he's made that sort of criticism, and I've told you there's a sort of phrase white savior stories that floats around in a Hollywood script community about stories where the white man sort of is comes to the rescue of the downtrodden minorities, and um scripts can get dismissed for having too much of a white savior halo around them,
Right. Yes.
so
Yes. Yes.
into a Wikipedia article on white savior stories. So
Really? Is there anything at all that does not have a Wikipedia story about it?
probably not. No.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So
the
I
white
watched.
savior is a cinematic trope
What does that
in
mean?
which a white
Trope.
central
What's
character
trope
rescues
mean, Jim?
non-white.
What's trope
Oh,
mean?
a type, a type,
Okay.
a type or a formula, basically.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay. Um,
this
well,
recurs in a array of genres in American cinema where a white protagonist is portrayed as the messianic figure
yeah,
who
right.
often gains insight and introspection in the course of rescuing non-white characters.
Gotcha. All right, gotcha. And I
And
certainly understand that criticism of the fact that why let's talk about let a black filmmaker make Malcolm X.
yeah.
Why can't we get this financed? How come black filmmakers? But one of the things that I've thought about in my lifetime, and I was born in Alabama, and it was a Jim Crow South. One of the things that I didn't think about, because I've always said, well, you couldn't swim in the same swimming pool, you had to sit in the back of the bus, you couldn't use the same restaurants, you couldn't use the same hotels, you could this and that, And one of the things in the Alec Baldwin movie, the Rob Reiner movie, I think it was in the Rob Reiner movie, and it might have been the other one, but is that like different cemeteries.
Yeah,
Wow,
definitely.
I mean, wow. I mean, that's like, wow. That's okay. All right. Once everybody's gone and they're just meat, they're just like rotting fucking meat. We still need to, we still can't have them in the, so,
Can't
yeah.
no mixing
Yeah.
in the cemetery, in the great beyond.
Listen, Rob Reiner's not only was he a wonderful actor, just a brilliant filmmaker in so many different ways. And we could talk about Rob Reiner movies, for this entire podcast.
I'm looking forward to the Spinal Tap reboot.
Is he involved?
I saw a picture.
Is he involved?
Yeah. I saw a picture of him. And the three guys in today's outfit, being like a still from the reboot that just looks hysterical. So, yeah.
I was trying to think of, I was watching the movie he did with Jimmy Woods and Alec Baldwin, and who's in it is
William Macy.
Thank you. You got that? Yeah. Well, William Macy has got a relatively, he's not obviously not the star of it. Alec is, and he's plays like either a cop and or a detective and or whatever you call. What do you call a guy that you hire, like a
Private investigator.
Private investigator. That plays that character in it. But that reminds me also, when we were talking about movies and favorite movies, and we were talking about Frances McDormand, and she's so good in The Ghost of Mississippi. She's like so good in it and everything. But one of the movies that I've always just thought, and I don't
Mississippi
know,
Burning.
She's in Mississippi Burning.
Mississippi Burning. Thank you. is one of my favorite movies that I've seen over and over and over and over again. Fargo. I mean, fuck,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? That movie is so good, and they're both so good in it. When she comes into the rental office and she's asking some questions about a missing car off the lot, and he gets all pissed off with that fucking Canadian accent. And that movie is just priceless. God, do I love that movie.
I didn't react to that movie the first time I saw it. I thought it was kind of condescending to its characters. And I was the second time and third time and fourth time and fifth time and sixth times I've seen it. I thought I was so wrong that first time. I just obviously didn't get it. But now it's charming as hell, from beginning to end. And Bill Macy, he keeps getting those calls from that guy, says, well, you faxed them over those numbers, but we can't really read the fax. Oh yeah, I'll get those right over to you. We have no idea what the hell he's been doing to his father-in-law, embezzling from his father-in-law, obviously, but we have no idea what he did or how he expects to.
Well, he's in trouble. He's
phony. Yeah, seriously in trouble.
Yeah.
But it's hysterical to watch him scramble and try to, and the lies he tries to concoct,
Yes, that is boy, is that. And I don't know. I almost think of it as a comedy. Like
it is. Oh, how can you not laugh at that thing?
She's interviewing the two hookers. Yeah, the big one. Yeah.
Go Bears. Yeah, we're from Chaska. Go Bears. Well, one of them had he was like a funny looking guy, but he had a regular penis. He was a funny looking guy.
There's also
kind of funny looking.
The guy, the cop comes out to it's not Macy, but it's not her, but it's her assistant. He comes out because he gets a lead and he's talking to some guy, and he's got like a coat on with like a coat with a hat on it, and it's all closed up, and you can only see his nose and his eyes. And he also says, just a funny looking guy. Well, was it tall, small? I don't know, just funny, just a funny looking guy. Yeah, God, that's a good movie. I love that movie. I love it. I love the thing that, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast, I'm sure, but the thing that's so great about the Coen brothers was that, and I guess this has been going on probably since the 30s or 40s, based on the true story. This movie is based on a true story.
This really happened.
These are based on actual events. However they do it. They've been doing that for years. And I don't know, it seemed like probably was a long time before, but it seemed like 3 or 4 years ago, the Coen brothers just came out and said, well, it wasn't really based on a fucking true story.
It wasn't based on anything, yeah.
Yeah, we made it up.
We just put that there. We made it up. We just put that there.
We can do that, We're the filmmakers. And, there's something about when you're watching it, if you think that it's kind of true.
Yeah.
You got the guy with the leg with a wood chipper at the end trying to get the leg down the wood chipper. What's the name of that actor?
Peter Stormare?
Is that who?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What a great movie.
Oh, and she's talking to one of her other cops and they're talking about a license plate. And he says, well, we got the license plate starts with DLR. And she says, not sure I approve of your detective work there, Joe. DLR might stand for dealer plates. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy little exchange. It goes, that old alumni from her high school who tries to kind of pick up on her. She's like 9 months pregnant and he's trying to hit on her from her high school. Yeah. And her husband, out in the middle of nowhere. And her husband's at home painting dogs in a competition. It's hysterical. How can you not see that as a comedy?
Right, yes. I mean, I when I think about movies that make me laugh, I would have to put that maybe in the top 5 of comedies. Although, I think when I first saw it, I didn't laugh as much. I think I was like just in awe of the fact that this story was based on a true story. That something like this, and the accents, man, they nailed the accents. Is that kind of Canadian?
Oh, did they ever?
A boot,
Yeah, it
boot.
is.
I
A
can't do
boot,
it.
a boot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When you go oot the boot.
Yeah, that was so good. And so anyway, I guess I don't really have that much more to say about the Rob Reiner movie, except for the fact that it seemed like, and I'm not sure how much of this is fact and or based on a true. We know that was based on true events.
Oh, it was a true story.
But they
yeah.
had Alec Baldwin leaving his, I bet you this really happened to him. They had him leaving his house. This would have been in the big 90s, the character that he played,
Right.
leaving his house and going to live and taking his family into kind of hiding because of a bomb threat, that he got because he was prosecuting, what's the guy's name? Jimmy, what's his character's name?
Byron De La Beckwith.
Right. Did Jimmy Woods ever win an Academy Award? What was that? God, what was that first one, Jim? That he?
You and I, probably The Onion Field.
Yeah. Oh God, he was fucking great in The Onion Field.
He was.
And who was the other one? The other cop? The other cop.
Ted Danson plays the cop who gets killed at the beginning of it.
There's another cop in it though who hits the baby. The one who like slaps the baby.
Oh, John Savage.
Oh,
John Savage is the cop who.
Who directed?
John Savage is the cop who survived, and the whole story is about two cops who got abducted by two guys they pulled over in a car. And they get abducted by these guys and taken out to an onion field near Bakersfield, and one of them is shot and killed, and the other manages to escape, but undergoes years of harrowing PTSD, we'd call it now, and just his life kind of unraveled, and it was a struggle to get it back together again.
Is that based,
I think a guy named Harold Becker directed that.
Is that based on a true story?
Absolutely, it's a true story. There's in front of the Hollywood police station on Wilcox is a memorial to the dead officer. It's a very true story. They were picked up right near our old neighborhood. The kidnapping occurred. It's very much a true story. It was written by Joseph Wambaugh, the former cop who turned writer and wrote Police Story, etc. So it was, or The New Centurions, that famous book of his.
Yes.
So it was very much a true story.
Is The New Centurions, is that fiction or nonfiction?
That's fiction. That's fiction.
Yeah.
Based on his experience as an LA street cop.
Yeah.
And then he wrote a couple of novels, The Choir Boy.
The Onion Field is, I remember, like, that was, you can check and see what he, I always know I'm in trouble when I look up and my son, who's fucking yawning. You're not supposed to do that. Jimmy Woods, The Onion Field. That was the first time I saw him. What did Jimmy Woods do before The Onion Field?
I'll look up
a small part.
I'll look up his credits. You can. I just wanted to mention that he was nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
Never won an Academy Award.
Never won Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor for Salvador and Ghost of Mississippi. And then he was nominated for a Golden Globe for The Onion Field and also for Ghost of Mississippi.
Yeah.
The first thing I think I ever saw him in was The Way We Were.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of credits.
Movie?
So, I mean,
Before
The Onion Field?
Yeah.
So he did 4 movies before that, starting in 72. The Visitors, The Way We Were, Night Moves, and Holocaust.
Right. I
remember Night Moves. I think that's
keep going with his movies.
After that is The Incredible Journey of Dr. The Black Marble, Eyewitness, Fast Walking, Videodrome.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a crazy movie.
Who directed that one, Jim?
David Cronenberg. David Cronenberg.
What did Once Upon a Time in America?
No,
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 that's Sergio Leone.
Videodrome.
Videodrome. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Leone did Once Upon a Time in America, and Woods is in that.
well, he did. Who is it called? El Salvador? Is that the name of it?
Salvador.
El
Just Salvador.
Just Salvador. And that was
That's Stone.
yeah, Oliver Stone's movie.
Yeah, before Platoon.
Yeah. I remember meeting Oliver Stone for the role that the other actor who was in the onion field that we were just talking about played, who's the photographer in that movie. Who were we just talking about? What was
Ted Danson?
No, the other one.
Oh, Savage.
Salvador.
John Savage. John
Yeah, yeah.
Savage, I believe, plays a photographer in that movie, and I was taking he was taking meetings, and I went in. I met him a few times, and I went in and I met him for that movie, and it was a very sort of uncomfortable. He left the room, and then he'd come back. We'd talk for a little bit more. Then he'd leave the room, and he'd come back, and we'd talk a little more. He'd leave the room and come back, and we'd talk a little bit more. And I'm not sure what he was doing, but he seemed a little when I was talking to him, and I seemed a little amped, and he, usually when you're going in and you're trying to detail, or you try to impress somebody about how you're going to wait, when you're not able to audition for somebody, or if you don't want to audition for somebody, you have to go in and sell them on, like, well, this is how I would do it. This is what I like about the movie. This is what I like about the character. This is how I'd play it. This is how this fits in.
This is how I see it. Yeah.
This is how I see it. And this is the way that I would do it. And you've already seen Terminator and Aliens and the Abyss, and so you should know that I can fucking act. And that was kind of my attitude at the time. But I remember having that, and I remember him. It was just an uncomfortable meeting. And basically, when I got done with my spiel or whatever it was, maybe I just didn't have my shit together at all with him. Basically, he was talking about that character, and he said to me, he was intense. He was really intense that day. It's about the adrenaline. So that's what this character's about. It's about he had to basically say, no, you're fucking wrong. This is what it's about. And this is why he does it. And this is what, it's about the adrenaline of being a wartime photographer, putting yourself in those positions, whether it's, Salvador
Yeah.
at that time, or now wherever you are, and I was kind of taken back. I thought he was sort of disrespectful and a little mean spirited, kind of get the fuck out of my office kind of thing. You don't know shit type of thing. And then I laughed, and looking back on it, he was fucking right. He was fucking right. That's really, really what that character and maybe some of the other characters were about. And he cast John Savage in it, and John Savage was wonderful in it. But I remember having that experience with him and me just kind of not liking him, because I just thought he was mean-spirited towards me and my ideas. But no, I think he had it. He got it right. He's an interesting guy. Was he? Do you know what kind of medals he won in Vietnam, or was he shot, or was he really in?
He was in combat. I don't know that he would have received the combat infantryman's badge, which is significant. And I don't know if he got any Purple Hearts or not.
Did he?
I know.
When did he do? Did he do Born on the 4th of July before?
He sure as hell.
or-
No, he did that after Platoon, but he wrote Midnight Express. That's kind of where he first showed up, and he wrote
Wow.
Scarface.
He
He was writing screenplays.
he wrote Midnight Express by him. Like
Yes.
that was just him.
I think he's got sole
That was
credit
not
on
based on that.
That's based on a book.
Yes,
based on a
Billy
book.
was that guy's name Billy something or whatever. That guy
Billy Hayes, I think.
Billy Hayes. Yeah. Actually I saw him on YouTube recently, probably in the last month or so, and it's not surprising to me that somebody was able to listen to him and then make a movie. Because boy, does he like talking. And boy, does he like talking about himself and his experience and his memory of, like, his memory's, like, really good. And, but he just talks a mile a minute about the experience and knows every fact about, like, what the fiber of the carpet looked like to, whether it was raining, whether it was overcast that day. And, I just think if you turned a tape recorder on and said, hey, tell me your story, you'd get about 10 hours. 15 hours and then go, okay, I need to cut this down to 90 minutes. What do I take from there? That was such a good Brad Davis.
He did win a couple awards. He was wounded twice in action. He received a Bronze Star with V for Valor, an Air Medal, a Purple Heart, and the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross with unit citation.
Wow. So. Okay, so he's the real deal, and I guess it's okay. I mean, I met him at another time too, and had what I thought was not a very good experience with him. I went in to meet him for a movie that he was going to make that he never made called Pinkville, and explain to the viewing audience, Jim, what Pinkville was.
Well, I'm sure it's the same thing I know Pinkville as. Pinkville was, I believe, the U.S. Army designation for a village called My Lai.
Correct.
Where a massacre occurred, and a subsequent court-martial involving a couple of American officers. There were horrific pictures from this village that basically was annihilated by a company I believe in the spring of '68, shortly after the Tet Offensive, and it became a huge sensation. The lieutenant involved was a guy named William Calley.
Yep.
And there was a captain named Ernest Medina, and those two guys were the ones who faced court-martial. And Calley basically lived was stuck on the base in Georgia for a couple of years until Nixon pardoned him. And so he never faced any consequences. Essentially, nobody really faced any consequences for it. And it was clearly a war crime.
Yeah. And the other fellow, Medina, was he prosecuted in the same way? Because I think he was as responsible.
He was responsible. He wasn't quite as responsible, but he more or less gave the go-ahead for it to occur.
And isn't there a story about a guy who was in a helicopter who was kind of flying over that? Who was that, Jim? And
I don't remember.
Why do I know? It can't just be that script. Is there a book that's written on this?
There's a ton of stuff written about the My Lai massacre.
There's a guy.
Yeah, there have been some books about it. F. Lee Bailey, famous lawyer, was Medina's attorney through all of that.
F. Lee Bailey?
F. Lee Bailey got involved in it
Oh.
as an attorney for Ernest Medina, defense attorney for Medina.
That reminds me of this guy from Saturday Night Live doing F. Lee Bailey in the O.J. Simpson trial. I a little hammered. Like I've forgotten about what it has something to do with justice or what he was famous for. F. Lee Bailey, when he was doing the O.J. Simpson trial, saying something as a comedian who was on Saturday Night Live, very funny guy, basically does an imitation of him. It's very, very good. Anyway,
Talking about Chris Farley?
no, I'm talking about before Chris Farley.
Steve Higgins?
Nope. One of the almost originals, tall, thin guy. I heard that he had,
not Ferrell, not Will
had
Ferrell.
heart surgery. No, the thin guy, the two brothers that played the guitar, he was one of them. Not, Wayne's World.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not
Michael Myers
not
and
Mike
Dana
My-
Carvey.
Fine.
Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, look up.
We're not worthy. Yeah.
Dana Carvey does a bit about the O.J. Simpson trial and said, "Don't look, like this. All this evidence. Don't look over there. Don't look over there." Like playing the jazz. Like what's his name? Remember what was the name of the attorney for O.J. Who was black?
Johnny Cochran. Johnny Cochran.
God, Jim,
If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
What a crazy we could not have lived in a more
And Kardashian was on.
Kardashian,
the father of the Kardashians.
He's still alive, isn't he?
He's dead.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
long
yeah.
gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He was standing right there next to OJ when the verdict was read. So, yeah, that was a crew.
Not guilty. Not guilty. I think that was kind of the payback for all the times that white people had found black people guilty.
It was a payback for Rodney King, for one thing. That was still fresh in everybody's in the minds of that jury, I'm sure.
Yeah. Who was our police commissioner said, "I don't pay my fucking cops to roll around in the dirt with
what was that guy's name?
Yeah.
Daryl Gates.
Daryl Gates.
Who defended the chokehold, saying that blacks are physiologically different, and that's why they're more susceptible to choke. He was coming up with crazy stuff like that.
Oh, Lord. That's when he starts talking like that and you're standing next to him. That's when you start easing out of the shot.
Yeah, exactly. Inching your way away from him. Yeah. He was at a fundraiser in Brentwood when the riots broke out following the Rodney King verdict. It took him quite a while to get around to responding to it.
Right.
Yeah, he was a real piece of work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of criticism about. What was the name of the guy that they pulled out of the truck and fucking bashed him over the head?
Oh, I don't remember him. Yeah, I do remember that guy because the famous footage from the helicopter.
Reginald Denny.
Overhead.
Reginald Denny.
Reginald Denny, yeah.
And see who the guy is who slammed the brick in his head, because he ended up doing a couple, he had one of those blocks that you build with, like big.
Yeah, cinder block.
Right. Just basically. They dragged him out of the truck, and this guy, his name is Football. Football, something or whatever. He's got some nickname. And he took the cinder block and just fucking. I guess you can probably go back and see all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure you can pull that up on YouTube, but it's from, this video taken from a helicopter hovering right over, and they stop this truck, they pull him out. This guy has a big ass brick or cinder block in his hand, and he rears back and throws it, looking about as hard as he could, into this fellow's face from a couple of feet away. And then he rears back and starts laughing and looking at the crowd for applause.
Yes, yeah.
The guy's name was Damian Williams.
Damian, they don't give his nickname? Damian Williams.
It just says Damian Williams throwing a cinder block at Denny's head, then executing a football-style victory dance.
I think they called him football. It was something to football. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah. This goes back. I was talking about Salvador, and I was talking about this. The second meeting I had with him had to do with Pinkville. I mean, that was the name of the movie. And I know that I've gotten a lot more information than from that script, but he was meeting people on that movie. And
had you read the script? Have you read the script?
Yeah, I read the script, and I liked the script, and I do believe that I don't think the script could have contained as much knowledge that I feel that I have on that. situation, or maybe I researched it before I went in to meet him, and I went in to meet him for that, and he's with a casting director who I think she used to like me. I forgot her name, but and they were sitting. It was almost like they were in like some sort of like it felt like you're in a high school, right? You're in a high school gym.
Okay.
And you're gonna go meet somebody at a high school gym, and you're or a theater. Okay, and instead of two chairs that are sitting on the stage, him in one of them, and the casting director sitting next to him, he was like in the fucking balconies. Him and the casting director were like, they were like way up there, and like it felt as soon as I walked in, it's like, well, this is gonna kind of have a hard time to have a conversation, because not only. You know how Johnny Carson always had his seat up a little bit? You know?
Yeah.
You look taller.
Raised.
David
was.
Letterman, everybody's seat's always a little higher than their guests.
Couple inches, yeah.
Yeah, well, they were up. They were up. Yeah, they were up there about 30 feet, and it really felt disrespectful, I thought. And anyway, so I was talking to him and this and that. I remember one of the things he said to me is, I heard you and Cameron got into a beef. What was that all about? And I was just like, fuck you, man. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, what a scumbag thing to say. Because maybe he heard that, but like, yeah, I always
how would you respond? How did you respond to that?
Well, you know, it took me by surprise, and he was
I
all
imagine.
stoned. So I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Jim and I have always gotten along, and Jim and I really, really have never, ever had any words of any kind that I can recall.
Well, that's what I was thinking. What's he talking about?
I don't know. I just don't. I just didn't, you know, and he treated me a certain way, and, you know, being up in the bleachers, and I just kind of felt very disrespected when I went in on that meeting. And then it wasn't that long. I mean, it's a long time ago, but maybe 2010 or 15 or something like that. But anyway, he never got it made. But I remember the person that came in behind me. Okay, so I went in to meet him, and James Brolin was the next person that he was meeting. And as I was walking out, he was like kind of walking in to see James Brolin, like, and he said, General Brolin, something, and like walked up and like to shake his hand. So he had like gotten out of the fucking grandstands and gotten down to meet James Brolin to shake his hand, as if like, you know, okay, well, that would have been nice if he had done that to me, but he obviously thought that I was like, you know, I have to see this guy because I'm interested in Mel Gibson, and I don't want to piss off Ed L'Amato. And fuck him. I met him once before for Salvador, and he didn't know what he was doing. But my gut told me the reason that he made such a big deal about Brolin was because Josh Brolin was blowing up at that time. And there's something about it that I kind of felt like, you know, James Brolin did something where he played Reagan about 6 or 7 years or something like whatever it was. But he played Reagan, and it's a little bit like this last one. What's his name? Played Reagan recently and got a little bit of acclaim for it. The guy was like doing coke every day for his entire life and was a movie star, and it's got the older brother who was in
Quaid.
What?
You talking about Quaid?
Yeah, Quaid. Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But his father played Reagan, and I think that they did a pretty good job. It was either a movie or I think it was like a television movie.
Are you talking about James Brolin?
James Brolin.
Yeah, it's called The Reagans. It was a TV movie.
Something happened. Do a Wikipedia search on that, because something happened in that movie where they decided not to release it. They were like, either maybe Reagan died, or like something happened that was controversial, and they just pulled that thing.
I'm just seeing that it was planned to broadcast as a 2-part miniseries.
Okay.
But ultimately broadcast as a film on cable on Showtime due to controversy over its portrayal of Reagan.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not sure what the controversy was, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm seeing just a month before it was released.
Right.
Portions of the script were leaked.
Okay. And then
as a result, it was widely criticized by conservatives as unbalanced and an inaccurate depiction of Reagan.
Yes.
There's a lot here on the controversy.
So if you want to find out about that, you can find out about it. But I thought it was kind of James Brolin's. It was kind of like a nice little comeback for him. I mean, he'd been a big star on television. I mean, I grew up watching him and respecting him, and she was Doctor. I've forgotten the character that he played, but he was a good-looking guy, and obviously Josh's father. And I always liked him, and I remember like that this thing was coming out, and he was supposed to be really quite good, and then it just disappeared. It's crazy how the business is that way.
Yeah, so one of the most controversial points in the script was the depiction of Reagan telling his wife during a conversation about AIDS patients that he says that they live in sin shall die in sin. So that
told
line,
his wife that, or he said that?
He said that in the script. Yeah, Reagan says that to his wife, and that was a controversial line in the script.
Jim, wasn't Reagan, didn't Reagan wait until like there were like 1 million dead gay people before he mentioned the word AIDS?
Yes, and it's the subject of a very well-known book called "And the Band Played On."
Okay. Oh, of course, that was.
And and the what's behind the title "And the Band Played On" is that while this crisis was raging, Reagan was pretty much silent about it until it was well into the devastation that it would cause, and that's what resulted in the book "And the Band Played On."
Well, look up "The Band Played On." The band played
and
on.
It's called "And the Band Played On."
Didn't Joel Schumacher direct that? And didn't that have?
It
was a
Roger
great book.
Spottiswoode.
Okay, but
it was a great book.
It had the actor
Matthew Modine.
Nope.
Alan Alda.
No.
Ian McKellen.
Well, Gere.
Lily
Richard
Tomlin
Gere was in
and
it.
Richard Gere.
Okay. Who was it? Spottiswoode? I thought I met. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the band played on. Yeah. Maybe I did meet on it. But I remember that. That Reagan was criticized for not even
for passivity. Yeah. And inaction.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. I guess what year was that? What year was that, Jim? Kind of about.
Well, the movie came out in '93.
When would Reagan? When did the AIDS crisis start? And like when was Reagan ignoring?
Well, we really started hearing about it in the early '80s. You know, it was kind of unknown in 1980, but by the early '80s, we started hearing about this so-called gay cancer.
Yes.
And then when it was identified as the acquired immune deficiency syndrome, was essentially the result of infection with a virus called the HIV virus. And all that knowledge came about in the early '80s. And that's when we started seeing just horrendous losses of life. You know, look at, the swath it cut through showbiz, for crying out loud, the number of names of people who passed because of it. And this was Reagan was president from '81 to '89. This was well into his presidency when he didn't even mention the crisis. He would never talk about it. It was really late into his presidency that he even started to address it or acknowledge it. And then he sort of admitted that he had come to it too late or come to it late. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of the name of the actor that we were talking about before, who was thrown in jail over in like Turkey or whatever. Who was that? Actor
thrown in jail. The guy who played Billy Hayes.
Yeah.
Brad Davis.
Brad Davis.
Yes.
Well, Brad Davis was gay. Okay.
Yeah.
And he died of AIDS. And Brad
Yes.
Davis. I saw him in a play downtown. There were two theaters downtown, Jim. One was called the Amundsen, and the other one was called what? Do you remember?
The Chandler? Was it the
Yeah,
Chandler?
maybe. Maybe it was at the Amundsen Theater. I think
or the Shrine? The Shrine?
I don't think so. But anyway, Amundsen. Let's just say the Amundsen. But I went down there and I saw him, and he was in a play called Metamorphosis.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, my God, he was fucking just brilliant. The physicality of, like, because he turns into a spider. Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Where does that
into a bug?
Where does that come from? Is that based on a book by some? Where does Metamorphosis? Where would that play have come from? Do you know, Jim?
I think it's I think it's Kafka-esque.
Kafka. Tell me who Kafka was, please.
Yeah, it's not Franz Kafka.
Okay. Yeah.
He was I think he was a German or Czech novelist who wrote books like The Trial and The Castle, and he's very existentialist. They kind of throw these characters into situations where there's no background, or we don't really know why. In The Trial, we never know why the guy's on trial.
Right.
And so that's a kind of a nightmare.
And did he write a book called Metamorphosis?
Yes, he wrote a novella called Metamorphosis.
So the play was adapted from a classic Ovid poem, and Publius Ovidius Naso was a Roman poet. So that play was adapted from a poem from a Roman poet.
Wow, some smart people out there, man. Anyway, I saw him, and there was it seemed a little bit like The Fly,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it was, I've forgotten whether he was already that way, but he was very physical as far as like being on stage, and there was like, the set was like a spider web, and he'd be climbing all over that thing while he was like acting, and he was absolutely like astonishingly like good in that. I was just like, oh my God, it's one of those things that you see as an actor where you go like, fucking guy's a little bit better than me.
He was in Chariots of Fire.
I know he was in Chariots of Fire. He had a very small role in Chariots of Fire. And Chariots of Fire, I went back and looked at, and I think that for whatever reason that got kind of a bum rap. It had that incredible score. Do you remember who did this?
Was that Vangelis?
I don't know, but it was an incredible score.
I think it's Vangelis, yeah.
And I went back and I looked at that movie, and I think it got kind of a bad rap for whatever reason. I think that I liked that movie a lot more like you said, you rewatch a movie and you rewatch it, and I watched that movie.
Oh, I think you were right, Jim. There is another play called The Metamorphosis, which says it's based on Franz Kafka's novella.
Yes,
so
that's the one.
Yeah, I'm thinking
a guy who wakes up as a cockroach, basically.
Yeah, I was looking at a different one.
Yeah.
Ooh, God, what a fucking horrific idea. Like waking up as a cockroach.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like, I don't have like, I'm not frightened of spiders. I'm not frightened of snakes. I've had, I got a funny story about tarantulas, working on tarantulas. When I did Deadly Intentions.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I don't know whether I should tell that story or not. We're kind of running out of time a little bit, but I did Deadly Intentions, and there was a part in there was a dream sequence in it, and I'm driving. I think my character drove a Volkswagen, and I'm driving, and the woman who played my wife, who I'm like terrorizing throughout this entire television movie that I did that Noah Black directed, she has a nightmare that we're driving, and she has tarantulas that are on her body, and that's sort of her nightmare. And she was like totally freaked out. She totally was like very, very frightened of. Look up Deadly Intentions and tell me who the girl was. I always forget her name, but she was really, really quite good in it also.
Madeline Smith Osborne?
Yeah, Madeline Smith, and I think she married a hockey player. I think that Osborne is a hockey player, or that was her first husband. Anyway, so while we were getting ready to shoot that, we shot it on a set. We didn't shoot it, but it was on a set, and it was like rear screen projection or whatever they did, and they wanted to put a tarantula on her, and she was like freaked out. She's like, I don't want it. Wait until we shoot. When we shoot, you can put it on me, and then I want it off, and like that. It was like that kind of vibe, and I was kind of interested, and I went over to what they call like the handler, like the spider handler. I mean, these things are big. They're like little animals.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you can put it on your. And he's not gonna bite you. They don't bite. This one's like got the thing taken out or whatever. I'm like, all right, put it on my arm. Thing's crawling slowly around on my arm. And I think in one of the 007s, I think the Bond is got those things crawling on him, and that's anyway. So I had that thing crawling on me a little bit, and we went to shoot that, and what they did was they took they wanted a number of them on her. So they took 3 or 4 fake tarantulas and they put them on her shirt. And then they took the real tarantula and they put it down by her stomach, sort of lower down by her stomach. And then, and she was like totally freaked out, like just not happy with the whole thing at all. And and then they called action. And the real spider, it didn't move. It just stayed there. It looked like the other spiders, which were fake tarantulas, and it didn't move. And so the wrangler, call him the Spider Wrangler.
Spider Wrangler, yeah.
Spider Wrangler, yeah. It's like the name of a movie, Spider
Somebody
Wrangler.
cue the spider. Yeah.
This is fucking true. This is so true, Madeline. So anyway, so he had a pencil. And of course, cameras are rolling. Of course, this is film back then, and so they needed to get that thing moving a little bit. And I can remember, and I'm in the driver's seat, and she's like, I'm driving or whatever. And so he takes that pencil and he starts pushing the back of it. And I can remember the spider kind of like it being pushed, but its legs staying where they were. And kind of being pushed, and the legs stayed where they were. And then he pushed it, and all of a sudden, this spider just went right up to her face. And she just fucking lost it. I mean, absolutely it went from 0 to 100, like right up their neck, And, she fucking screamed and jumped up, and, and it was like it was a crazy ass fucking, and then, then the spider was gone. She was freaking out. She was like, I can't do that. I won't do that. And, they ended up finding the spider. The spider was okay, and because I had let that spider go on me before, they decided to shoot that. If you ever watch Deadly Intentions, if anybody's never ever seen Deadly Intentions, it's pretty dated. It was the very first time I got to act like a fucking maniac, and it was a lot of fun. And but that's one of the scenes. And so what they did is they ended up putting the tarantula on me, and they let it walk around me, and I let it kind of like walk onto my neck and shit because I'd already kind of familiarized myself with it.
That's funny.
Anyway. What were we going to do this
That
morning?
ranks right there with Maureen Stapleton in the elevator. As a,
not quite. not quite.
Somebody losing it. Wow.
Not quite. But still, that's that also had that was the very first time we saw an Academy Award. She played my mother. Can you give me the cast?
Cloris Leachman.
Yeah. Cloris Leachman. She was a trip, man. Cloris Leachman was a trip. She played my mother. Wow, she was crazy. Crazy fun. And I went over to her house once for a party, I think after we'd shot that. And she had won an Academy Award for something. I don't know, Jim, you might know.
Last Picture
Show. Yeah, we've talked about the Last Picture Show on the podcast before. But all right, so I guess we're probably going about that time. I'm looking at I got a little clock in front of me, folks, and it's kind of about that time that we can stop. Is there anything?
Well, I just want, because Cloris Leachman, I was looking her up, and she plays the grandma in Bad Santa.
Yes.
Which I don't know if you see, that's one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Yeah.
In Bad Santa?
Yeah, because Billy Bob Thornton plays, he's like a bank robber and he's a Santa and he goes to live with like a little kid.
Yes.
And he meets the kid at the mall, and the kid's like kind of autistic, and so he takes the kid home. The kid wants to bring Santa home, so he brings Santa home, and he walks into the house with a robber's mask on and like a club, like he's gonna rob the place. And Cloris Leachman is the grandma, and she doesn't know what's going on, and she sees him walk in with a robber's mask on and a club. She's like, "Oh, let me make you some sandwiches." And he ends up living with the kid at his house, and it's just such a good movie.
It's a pretty funny movie.
She's also in, like, we were talking about comedies, and I mean, without a doubt, one of the ones that would have to go on the list, which she's so good in, is it Young Frankenstein? Is it Young?
Oh yes.
Oh my God, that movie.
He was my boyfriend.
Abby Normal. Who you switch the brains to who? Abby Normal.
Abby who? Oh, Abby Normal.
Who was that guy with the fucking eyes? What's that guy's name, Jim?
Marty Feldman.
Marty Feldman.
I am a very good surgeon. I can help you with that hump. What hump? What hump?
And didn't it keep changing from side to side?
Yeah, keep moving. Wasn't that hump on the other? What hump? Never mind.
God, that was a fucking hilarious.
I go grab the bags. You take the blonde, and I'll take the one in the turban.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny.
And Cloris Leachman, every time her name was Frau something or
Frau
whatever.
Brucker.
Every time somebody said her name, the horse.
You hear this horse whinny in the background.
Just not sure why, but it conjures up something.
It does. It's freaky.
Every time they mention her name, Frau
Brucker.
Hey, great motherfucking movie. All right, so I'm all laughed out, I guess. But I could sit and talk to you about that movie for another half an hour and just keep quoting it. Push the other button. Remember when he's going back and forth between the walls? No matter what I do, don't let me. I'm not gonna do the whole movie. Living on the Anyway, all right. So I guess we're in for about an hour and 10 minutes now, Jim. So I guess we can call this one. Thank you everybody for listening, and just like keep pouring in those like messages, and please let me know like when we're wrong, and you can be a little mean spirited about it. Everybody's always so nice and everything. Yeah, you fucking idiot. No, he's not from fucking England. So I'm really starting to have even more fun than I've had. I've been doing this a year, and it seems like every time I do it, I have more fun and get to spend time with my
Yeah, I need to
son.
correct the person who said I can go back to polishing my Hillary Clinton picture frame. It's a Bill Clinton picture frame that I got for working on his campaign in '92, for taking most of the year to work on his presidential campaign. It was a fabulous experience at the time, and I'm glad I did it once, and I will never do it again.
Well, did somebody mention that? You hadn't mentioned that in the podcast?
No, I never said that before.
Well,
but
how did
somebody
that just
said,
come up just now?
It just because we were talking about comments, and somebody made a comment about how I can go back to polishing my Hillary Clinton picture frames. I think that came out of some comment we made about the Epstein files. And, I just wanted to correct the record that I don't have a Hillary Clinton picture frame. I have a Bill Clinton picture frame that
It was close. That one made me laugh.
from working on the campaign for a year. So there we go.
Thank God I never got involved in that business. You got to be a much better liar than I ever could be.
It's a challenge. It was a 24-hour. It was like round the clock, 24/7 experience for close to 10 months. I was worn out when it was over, but I thought it was very rewarding. We won. It was I got to see what a campaign is like up close and personal, and it was, but like I said, it was fun once, and I would never do it again. So,
All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for enjoying this with us. I'm having a great time. Spread the word if you enjoy this and you think you might know somebody who might enjoy it too. As Caitlin has said in the past, the bigger we get, the more people will want to come on and talk to us. And it's kind of tough to get people, especially people that I know that are like mine. It's like somebody said to me, "Hey, would you?" And I did do podcast.
Rosenbaum?
No, well, I've done Michael's
Jamie Kennedy?
Yeah, I did Jamie Kennedy's a while ago. But I get in the car, drive all the way to the fucking valley, and then, but that was fun. So I enjoy doing this, and I don't know what else I'd be doing. Probably I'd just be sitting home like this now, like having.
You'd be talking to me on the phone and not recording it. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'd be doing. Although I do have a 10-year-old at home. It takes up a little bit of my time. All right. So thank you very much. And we'll see you next week or the next day that this is supposed to come out, whenever that is. All right. Did I mention the
Yep.
HD? Okay. All right. Goodbye. Oh, yeah. And this is, who's this? Bingo. Bingo, take us out. All right. Bye. Bye, Jim. I'll talk to you.
Bye.
All right.
You got it.